Here today we are going to see the game between Seirawan and Xu Jun from 1988 Olympiad. This game was 191 moves long. If we combine both players' moves, then it will be 382. The longest chess game played was 255 moves. Yeah. So, this game was a good fighted game. Seirawan needed a half point, but he was losing. He battled till the end, and then when his opponent made a blunder, he made quickly use of that advantage. That's what we are going to show in this video. And also in the pawn ending, in the king and pawn, the queen ending had been adjourned 5 to 6 times, over and over adjourned, like the game went 5 to 6 days, and all the Olympiad pairings were missed. So now the game starts with yes or not. No. d4, d5. How many d4s will you play? c4, e6, then knight to f3, c5, c takes on d5, e takes on d5. Now bishop g5, bishop e7, bishop takes on e7, queen takes on e7, d takes on c5, queen takes on c5, many captures in the position. Knight bd2, white develops the knight, knight c6, knight b3, queen d6, gaining control over the d4 square. This is I think that this is the longest game ever played in an IQP, isolated queen pawn, IQP. See, this pawn on d5 is an IQP because nobody is protecting it. So now after bishop queen to d6, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, castles, and then now the position seems equal, but bishop e6 was played, defending the d5 pawn, rook to c1, rook a to c8. Now knight b to d4, knight takes on d4. Then what will you play? Yes, knight takes on d4, queen b4, rook takes on c8, rook takes on c8, b3, h6, e3, bishop g4. Now it seems like an equal position. Both sides are fighting him, and white now first defends the a2 pawn, f3, bishop d7, queen e2, a5, and now were some pawn moves. Just skip this portion, so firstly comes e5, then rook to b1, and after rook to b1, h5 was played, bishop to f1, g6, rook to b2, b6. So the black pawn structure is f7, g6, h5, and a5, b6. Typical pawn structures in the IQP. Now white has an extra pawn majority on the king side, but that doesn't matter if you can't stop the IQP from invading in your position. IQPs can also be very strong. Beware. Now queen, first queen to e1. Now see, first of all After rook b to b6, there was the move rook to c2. Rook takes on c2. Queen takes on c2. Queen to d6. Queen c3. Queen e5. Now, queen to e1 was played. Knight to e8. The knight goes back and swings in. Queen to d2. Knight to g7. f4. Queen to d6. And now there is the exchanging period coming in front of you. Bishop to g2. Knight to e6. Knight to e2. Knight to c7, defending the d5 pawn. Yeah. Now, well, if you want to pin the pawn, then e4 is a good option, but in the game he didn't want to take any risk of a pawn or something, but that just lose the pawn. But now h3 was played, then bishop to f5, knight to d4, bishop to e4, and then, well, again there is a position where he has to be beware. Now, well, queen c5 came in, and here, first of all, g4, h takes on g4, h takes on g4, then knight to b5, knight takes on b5, queen takes on b5. Then, well, after queen takes on b5, there comes g5, bishop takes on g2, king takes on g2. So, all the minor pieces out of the game, and here comes the queen endgame. This endgame lasted till the move 181. This is move number 40. Well, queen to c5, king to f3, the king swoops in, then queen to b5, king to f2, queen to c5, queen to e2, king to f8, then queen to b2, queen to b5 check, king to d2, queen to b4 check, king to d1, queen to e4 check, and then queen h8 check, king e7, queen f8, f6 check, king f8, then queen takes on b6, taking one pawn, but now queen b1 check, king to d2, queen takes on a2 check, king e1, queen a1 check, then king to e2, and here comes one more check from black, queen to a2 check, king to d3, queen to b1 check, king to d4, queen to e4 check, king to c3, and after king to c3, well, there was queen to h1 coming in, trying to do queen to d1 and trying to pick up white pawns, but now king to b2, white shelters his king, queen to d1. Now there will be a question, why not white picked the pawn on e2? Well, on a5, well, the answer is queen to e2 check, and there the e3 pawn is gone. Great line. Now, after queen to d1, well, white kind of he wanted to go back, so he played queen to c5 check, king to e8, queen to c3, queen to e2 check, king to c1, queen to b5. Now, because the e3 pawn is guarded, the a5 pawn was under threat, and black defended it successfully by queen to b5. And here comes some repetition moves. King to d2, king to d7, king to e1, king to e8, king to d2, king to d7, queen to f6, king to e8, queen to e5 check, king to d7, and then here Well, queen to f6, king to e8. First queen to c3. Then comes king to e8, then king to c2, king to d7, queen to d4, here pinning the king goes back, no thanks, king to e8, and then white's king is not goodly guarded, so the white queen should retreat to c3, queen to c3, and here black tries to put pressure on the e3 pawn by queen to b6, and then first king e7 was played, trying to just maneuver the king around, dancing king, and also prevent some checks on c8. But the check on c7 is coming. He didn't notice that. Now queen to f6 check seems the most compromising reply. Now king to e8 just falls on queen to e5 check, so king to f8 is the correct move. Then queen to d8 check comes in the safety, king to g7, queen to f6 check, king to f8, and here the queen goes back to first queen to d6 check, then calmly black pushes his king to g7, king to g8. Now queen to a3 comes, threatening queen to a1, and black has a plan now. Black will invite the king to d5 to take the pawn, and then give hundreds of checks, thousands of checks. So that is the plan of black. Firstly he will exchange the a5 pawn for b3, then he will invite the king to d5. So let the plan begin. And after queen to a3, firstly black played queen to b6, attacking the e3 pawn, so the king came forward, I will help you, like that. After king to g3, here first queen to g7 was played, queen to e1 check, king to g8, queen to c3, queen to a6 check, king to d4, a4, b takes on a4, queen takes on e4, king takes on d5. It's now move number 78, and black's plan begins. Queen to d7 check, king to c4, queen to c6 check, king to d3, queen to d5 check, king to d4, queen to d4, and here queen to b3 check, king to c2, queen to c2 check, king to f3, and then queen to b1. Finally black tries to give some checks on h1 and f1. White disarms it by king to e2, then queen to c2 check. Now queen to d2. No more repetition by white. So the queen goes back to first he gives queen to c4 check, then the king goes to f2, then the queen goes to c6, trying to play queen to h1. Then white plays queen to d8 check, king to g7, queen to d4 check, king to h7, and here white plays king to g3, queen to h1, then queen to d1. So now queen to b7 was played, trying to give some checks from the, trying to get on h1. Now e4, stopping the plans. Now queen to b2 check, well, here there is an alternative better than it, but no ways. He played king to f3, and here it seems like white is going to go on. White is going to go on well. So here was the position, and here queen to d4 check was played. Then, well, there is a choice to make. Where is the king go? The king should go on g8. It is best square. Here the king goes on. The king goes on. First e4 is stopping black's plans. Now queen to b5 check. The queen swoops in the action. Queen to d3 stopping the queen. Queen to b2 check. He says, you can't stop me. King to f3, and the king is heading towards its target. And here black plays queen to h2. First queen to g1, and stopping white from playing queen to g4. But now white says, you can't stop me again. And there are two options, queen to d8 check and queen to e2. Both work, but queen to d8 check favors me more. But queen to e2 was played in, queen to e3 was played in the game, and here queen to f2 seems like a good target. But well, black says you can't achieve the target you can't achieve the target if I am there. Yeah. Now queen f1 check was played here. Well, there is a question, should the king head to his target or not? Well, it seems that the king to g4 is a good option, but well, the grandmasters were tired to play this much moves. They just completely missed it and played queen to f2, king to g3, and the king is heading for I don't know what, because h2 it's not a safe square and neither are h4. But the queen is so strong. But now also it can't go. Now king to h7 was played, and here, well, here comes the 100th move of the game. What do you play with white is the question. Now queen to f2 is a good option and was played in the game, in fact, and here white's king wants to go on f3 where it could deal with all the checks. Yeah, so now queen to c1, first queen to e3 check, queen to d3 check, trying to disarm white and also attacking the e4 spot. Now you have to defend it or else one pawn will be gone, so only move is queen to f3. And here white has a very easy plan. He will let black play anywhere where it is viable to the square c3, and then he will bring his king to go on there. So now many options are possible, but certainly queen to b1 should be the best. So now here white first in charges his queen out, like well, he wants to kind of play queen to f2, like so. Now queen e2 was played, then king g8, king f3, queen c3 check. We'll just fast forward these moves. Queen e3, queen c2, and here once again white plays queen e2, queen d4, then queen c1, then queen e3, queen d1 check, and here some disco time. Well, white could block with the queen, but after queen to e2, just queen to h1 check comes, but black needed some time to prepare, so he played queen to g1, and after queen to g1, well, there are many options possible, like queen to c1, queen to b1, queen to b3 check also possible, but well, queen to h1 check is more good. Here king to e3, then queen to c1 check, giving checks from the opposite direction. Here again king to d3, but well, the f4 pawn falls, so king to f3, then queen to h1 check, once again king e3, and not now, he doesn't repeat, but he plays the move queen to a1. He is trying to prepare if one more time queen c1 check. At that time the three move repetition rule didn't work, but the computer claims that the three move repetition is done. Yeah. So here queen to d2 was blocked, and here queen to c5 check. Well, black has a degree in giving checks, like he just gave too many checks now. Yeah. Now queen to d3, queen to a3 check, king to d4, queen to a7 check, and there is a disco dance in it. King to d3, queen to a6 check, king to e3, queen to a7 check, and here, well, it's something around 120, like 127th move, and white plays king to d3, queen to a6 check, king to e4, queen to a8 check, queen to d5, queen to a4 check, and here queen to d4, queen to c2 check, and then here some things come, like then here queen a8 check once again, and then king to e3, the king tucks behind the queen, queen a3 check comes, and here, well, white has an option: move the king or block with the queen. Queen to d3, and here then there are some exchanges in the position afterwards, like, well, queen to a7 check, first queen to c1 check, then white's king is attacked, and you can't go on 3 squares because the f4 pawn falls, so you have only 2 squares remaining: f3 or e4 or queen d2. Well, queen d2 is more good, and here white is like, time to do some exchanges, and well, queen to g1 check. Both are possible, but queen to e3 check was played, giving checks from the a file. Here the king the king has to find a safe square or else he will be exposed with checks. So the king will queen to d3 favors me more, but king to f2 was played in the game. Why? Well, the king controls some checks and disarms some. Now the only two checks possible are queen to c5 check and queen to a7 check, but nothing is played. And here after king to f2, well, now we have to exchange pawns. So first black also gives white self, because here if we exchange pawns, then it is favorable for black, who has the, like, when you are only one pawn down in a only 3-2 and this type of endings and no minor piece, just major pieces, then don't exchange pawns as the rule. How many pawns will you exchange? Like in chess, it is the rule. If you exchange more pawns, then more drawing chances are increased. Yeah, because of pawn pushes, the chances are decreased of each side. And now he can spot that the piece is coming here because any pawn is not here. And well, that's why don't exchange pieces in the endings. Don't exchange pawns and pieces when in an ending where it is equal. Fight on till the end. So well, a position like after queen b3, queen e2 was played. Now there is a simple plan: king g2, queen f1, f5 exchange. So white is trying to exchange. So now queen d7 check was played, king e4, queen c6 check, and here, well, king f4, queen c4 check, queen e4, king g3 was first played. Then here queen to d4 was played, trying to play queen to g1 check, but well, now queen to f4, queen to g1 check, king to f3, queen to f1 check, king to g4, queen to g1 check, and here seems like an equal position, but well, there were some changes, like king to f5, queen to b1 check. The queen gives check from the b1 a7 h7 diagonal, and actually king to g3 was played. Then queen d5, trying to play g6. Now queen e6, and here g takes on f7 check, king takes on f7, and then first queen c5, queen e6, queen f2 check, king e7, queen f5. Then here the real fun starts. Yeah. So queen to h6 was played. Then queen to g7 check, king to h3, queen to h6 check, king to g3, queen to g7 check, king to h4, king to h6 check, king to g4, queen to e6, queen takes on e6 check, king takes on e6, king f4, king e7, king f5, king f7, king e6 check, king e7, king e5, king e8, king d6, king d8, e7 check, king e8, king e6. A brilliant game by both players. What a game! It was titanic, very complex, like the middle game was just well. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, bell icon. Thank you.